wonders of streaming, I tell you. It never ceases to amaze me how every time I do it, I'm always wondering about what I'll say, what I'm thinking of, who's going to appear, who's not going to appear. You just never know anymore. I guess we could start this off in a basic area. I got off yesterday at 9, and because my sleep schedule is so bizarre, thanks to always like getting off at 12 or 1 in the morning, I just haven't been to sleep since I came back. Well, I didn't actually come into the house until about like an hour or 2 hours before, like an hour before 12 o'clock, because I was outside talking to somebody. This is Ear Hustler Central. Basic area. Okay, good. Wanted to make sure that was working properly. Um, the job yesterday was pretty uneventful. I mean, besides one very insane person being there, I was mostly keeping to myself. I saw some people and we had a couple of exchanges. I have noticed that they seem to be more open to putting someone there to assist me than they have been in the past. And that place was extremely busy uh, last night. I mean, they had so many people there that it was like the line wasn't reaching out the door. But what I tend to do is when I get there, I order something to eat, and then I order enough to where I can eat some before the shift starts and after it's over. And I'm glad that I did that, because if I had to wait in that line for as busy as it was, I probably wouldn't have been able to leave for another. It could have been anywhere from 20 minutes to 40 minutes. I mean, that place was packed. And that's one of the reasons why I have such a problem with a lot of these jobs, like not wanting to give people hours when they like when you see places that busy and they're doing that, we're going to cut this person or give them only 2 hours a day or 4 hours a day and every 3 days, just stuff like that's so stupid to me. But it wasn't that bad. I did start getting tired toward the end of it. And on my way over there, I was having some trouble with charging my phone because I bought this. This is back in December. I bought a 3 pack of chargers, and they have this thing where sometimes they'll work really good, and they'll charge something. And I started noticing that the one I was mainly keeping with me is was like acting up, where you would have to keep plugging it in over and over again. Then you have to like position it to where you don't mess with it or touch it, which is not really a thing I can do if I'm driving and I'm using it for the phone for maps. So I just said this is not doable. Like this isn't a tenable thing that I can realistically uh, be okay with. And I wasn't excited to go and buy another set of chargers, but when one of them starts acting like trash and you don't really know where the other one is, I was down to one. That's why it's been almost half a year since I bought a set. I decided to get another one just in case. Anytime I'm down to one of something I know I need, I tend to go and get some more. Yeah, it's just irritating technology. It's a real pain sometimes, because when you think that stuff is working, it'll just start messing up on you. Like I always remember the day I was driving to the job. It was a short time after I'd started working there, and all of a sudden, this is before I was even like really comfortable just jumping on the freeway. All of a sudden, like as I'm close to getting there, the car just starts going, and it really scared me. And it was like that for about 2 or 3 days. I just had no idea how to fix the thing. Um, and of course, I ended up having to, pull some shenanigans to get it fixed. But I hate it when stuff just, crashes or messes up on you like that, especially when you have to drive somewhere that's not close by your house at all. That's why I said every 3 months, either a tire goes out or some other technical issue. It's been like that since November. These cars, man. I said before, if I were a richer person, a lot of things like utilities I would get and have multiple of. Like I'd have two cars because one could act up, then you have the other one you can use. I'd have two computers because sometimes you use a computer to play games on, sometimes you use a computer, just different purposes. And when you sometimes you also don't feel like just deleting everything to get enough space to do stuff or upload stuff. Um, but you get the point that there's a lot of things that I wish I had multiple of just in case something happens to the first thing. Just like I remember when I was explaining this to this guy, I said, if I have a shirt I really like, or whatever other type of clothing or garment, I tend to get, if it's not, because most of the stuff I get isn't at a maximum would probably be like $50, and that still is just like getting it one time. I tend to get multiple pairs of it just in case if something happens to one, you have the other. Like I probably have about 4 or 5 different pairs of the same, well, I guess pairs of the same, pants by the same manufacturer. But the idea is that if again you get multiple in case something happens to one of them, you still have the other 2, 3, 4 pairs of it. Oh boy. Yeah, the yesterday and the day before that were interesting in terms of just when you have a set goal and you can't do it and how irritating it is. Like I think I'll be able to finish the documentary today because it's a non-work day, and I'll probably wake up around 12 or 1 or something. But I'm not going to try to hold myself to that because it's the editing part is like in the extremely early stages. Now it doesn't take anywhere near as long to edit as it does to write it and you know uh, record it, but still. Well, recording is an hour, so I usually depending how long the video is. I just think the whole thing is crazy. But I'm really serious about after doing part 6. Um, there's not really much else to. I mean, I don't know if I'd want to jump immediately to part 7 because that's when we're going to start getting more print sources involved. And if we get to that point, then we'll probably, we'll be reaching the middle point or even the apex of this. It's always fun opening up a book and just seeing what somebody scribbled in there. I remember when I got Conrad Black's Nixon biography, the damn person who had it before me, because I think I bought it used off of Amazon. They had a whole bunch of like lines on it where they were just reading the book and highlighting this, underlining that, and I, it doesn't bother me in terms of, it doesn't stop me from still reading the book. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's interesting how with every book I get, there's never been, at least for me anyway, a rationale to just highlight or underline things. Like if there's something I really like, I'll write it down manually and then I'll put the page number. Um, but I'm telling you, some of these people just, they don't care. They'll scribble all up in there like it's a coloring book. No, for upcoming videos, I'd say I still wish I could have done Stefanik's Tel Aviv speech because that was really goofy, and it went on for, I think it was almost like 20 minutes. Just her talking about our unyielding faith in this country. It just, I thought it was bad. Of course, the comment section made her seem like she was so brilliant for what she was saying, which was funny. Probably, if I do another edited non-appearance video, it probably would be the MTG cringe compilation. Since the Carrie Lake one has been doing so well. But yeah, besides that, I'll just try to stick to making. My goal was to do at least one part of a documentary every month, because at a minimum, that means that like 6 parts is is for pretty much anyone, is most of their life, I would say. So if you're getting one part each month, you're getting at least half of one of these done per year. Uh, so I'm trying. Oh man, I tell you, when you write stuff, it's so interesting. Oh, so one of these days we have to talk about these real life demons and just how people can so callously do things to others and like not have a shred of empathy. If the things they do lead to consequences for someone else, how you'll have someone who will tell you to go drive 20, 30 miles to do something for them, but then also like not give you 1 cent for gas. Uh, just as a Molecule Splitter said, get it yourself. It's a lot harder to tolerate a lot of the anti, me people just at this point. At least the ones that do the whole like stop blaming others type of rhetoric. Because when you're talking about just basic survival, and you hear that this man has a job that he's had now for almost 7 months. I know let's say it was the start of November, so December, January, February, March, April, May. Yeah, almost 7 months. You're going to sit there and tell that person, as they've worked every day they've been allowed to, oh yeah, you're just seeking a handout. It's like, come on, we're talking about stuff just costing too much. It's that simple. But they don't want to accept that. People do not care. Hmm. Oh, and I had a guy who told me about someone else watching one of my videos and like responding to it and not directly addressing what I was saying. And I just sometimes wonder if people even actually like watch the video. And we've talked before that there is a phenomenon where people will see a title of something and just respond to that instead of what's actually stated there, which I find extremely lazy and obnoxious. But I guess that's besides the point. Just so annoying. Almost as annoying as having writer's block. Yeah, I was trying to write this story about this grief, I guess you could say, where everyone is affected by this loss and it kind of ties them all together. Even though they were already tied together, it's supposed to like bring them closer. And as this is going on, one of the leads is, just going through the minutia of things not going their way, right? Going to college and getting into university, and then people don't want to foot the bill. So the only way you can keep going is if you pay out a bunch of money that you don't own and hope that the magic piece of paper is able to pay for itself. Um, and then, this is followed up by like the years and years of just not having a job, and then the other losses that come after that. I wanted to kind of show, because a story like this is not meant to just be you're going to live and then get treated terribly or have bad things happen to you, and then that's the full extent of what you will be. I wanted to have this thing where there are times where things look awful, unlivable, terrible, and then there's these little sequences, these nuggets where for a second it looks like things are getting better. Oh, this person wants to, hang out and you enjoy this. Or this person wants to do some other thing that is preferable to you, like hire you, right? And every time it looks like things are getting better, they're improving, etc., etc. You get you get like a little bit of a like two steps forward and then two steps back. So it just um it's supposed to be a whiplash. Like, hey, I just got hired by this job. Oh, they're trying to get rid of me after 3 weeks. Well, never mind. As I said before, that my experiences they define me. Like, I would never say I purposely or with any type of hope want to be fired, but I think that the experiences I've had in the past with the hire to fire schemes of these two other jobs I had previously have made it to where I'm always like just waiting for the day I get that call or slip up to some degree or another. Um, because I've in the past seen how quickly jobs just cycle through people. I've worked at places where they have you watch all these stupid how-to videos and then you're out of there within, 21 days or 28 days. And I was fully expecting this place to be another example of that because that's all I had ever known up to that point. So, they have surprised me. Um I'll give them credit for that. If you told me I would have worked here for this long, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have said, yeah, right. It's hard to write certain dynamics. Because I had this idea where one of the antagonist is friends with one of the heroes in the sense that um, she may attack him physically, she may insult him, but if he were on, let's say, the brink of his demise, she would still try to save him. Uh, and then, like, vice versa, where he believes that she has good in her, is misguided in her attempts, approaches, whatever. I guess I kind of see it similar to the Xavier Magneto relationship a little bit. Because it's established that they used to be friends, had a falling out, and then they became something else. Something with a more gray line, a more blurred line, I should say. But writing is not easy, man. I tell you, you can sit there and have 50 different ideas in your head. Like I was writing a chapter for this story, and in my mind, I had like a 5 sentence synopsis of what was supposed to happen. And as I was sitting there writing it, I was like skipping between pieces. I was writing this piece, and I go like, okay, something's gonna be in between here and then this piece. And I was like, man, I really cannot weave this together. And I don't think I've ever in the past had something I was trying to write and I just gave up, or on like, starting from that baseline and just skipping around like that. I haven't seen myself do that before. Maybe there will be a part I write in advance because I'm so excited to get to it, and then how do you the story is like, how do you get from here to there? But in terms of just, I'm gonna write this piece, these 5 sentences, then skip over to something else. It's not a common thing for me, but I am trying to get back in the habit of writing stuff outside of the documentaries. It's just that it's been a lot harder to come up with, just to feel like the motivation to just plot out a whole book and start from this piece and then work from that piece. It's more difficult than it used to be, unfortunately. But I'm trying. I'm giving it the old college try. I had one of my coworkers. She was sitting over there celebrating that she had a 3-day weekend because I guess she has it to where she doesn't work on Sunday like me and a lot of other people do. How great for her! And I was like, why do you get so excited about one extra day off? You know? And I say that with complete sincerity because it's not like on that extra day off you're going to, I don't know, go out of town, go somewhere you couldn't normally go during the 2 days you have off. Like it's probably just going to be you sitting at home or doing something else you would have done on Saturday or Sunday. That's why I said people are just so weird. Like at least with kids, I get it. They just a lot of them just despise school. Like they just don't like being in school at all. They don't like being in classrooms in any capacity. So for them, even that extra like 24 hours is just the best thing ever, right? But when adults do that, I'm just sitting there scratching my head. Like this is what excites you. This is what gets you to, look to the next day with some sense of interest that's bigger than what you normally have. Are you kidding me? Ooh, I have Monday off. I actually don't have next Monday off, but I mean, I'm only there for 4 hours next Monday, so I'm fine with it. I'm absolutely fine with it. I'm gonna see somebody I don't want to see next Monday. Apparently, let me look and see if they're on the schedule. It's gonna be real interesting because in one area we're moving into some uncharted territory where I'm irritated with them, but they don't know that, and I'm not gonna really show it that much. I'm not gonna just ignore them and do all the other little extremely rude stuff, but I won't. I won't go out of my way to be too friendly, is what I'm getting at. Okay, let's see here. Hmm. Are they on here? There's that one guy, unfortunately. I do not see. Uh. Oh wow, they might actually not be here. Or you know what? They might come in later than me. I just remember being really irritated because of what they did, and I thought because I'm not normally scheduled with them, so I figured we'd be just avoiding each other and not saying anything. Hmm. They're really not here. Okay, so that won't occur next Monday. That's an aborted mission. Let's see. Are they there on Friday? I'm just wondering which day is going to lead to the inevitable encounter where they say hello to me, and I'm just like, yeah, hi. Because I was very talkative with them and all friendly and whatnot, but after the way I was treated, I kind of feel like that has subsided. Um, they always use the same people for the same days over and over. I do not see them anymore. Did they just stop working there? No, they're there on oh, I guess they've been scheduled only on days when I'm not there. I mean, I'm not complaining, but it's kind of funny. Oh, okay. They come in really early uh on Sunday. So the only way I would see them is if I came in. I normally come in an hour early, so they leave before I show up. Okay. It's fine by me. This place has so many clowns. I don't even know what to say. When you miss one, you really aren't missing anything at all. Is it just they're identical to each other? I do think it's really funny that you can get in more trouble for complimenting somebody than insulting them at this point. Like I said that almost like a half joke, but it's really true. Oh, so that's what's happening with this person. They're coming in so damn early that I just don't see them anymore. Okay, that's fine. So it looks like we won't be having our very interesting final well, not final, but just like new stage of our relationship where they try to say hello to me. I had another So I had this coworker, and they were supposed to send. I said I asked what they were going to send me. It was something with Kanye and some other, um, I think rapper. It's like two rapper, not Kanye. I think it's like two rappers in a beef or something or a feud. And she said she would send it to me, and then never sent it. And of course, I wasn't surprised because these people can't do anything other than set you up for disappointment. But her response was that she didn't know if I was a minor or not, and I was sitting there just laughing. I'm like, man, these people, they all are. They're all playing that game. She's older than way old, significantly older than I thought she would be. She's at 39, but it's like I just thought it was funny. Oh, these people! What are you gonna do with them? No, she's very distinct because she's one of the few people that wears a mask 24, like ever. Like some people wear a mask when they get sick, but it's like the same three people that work there that always wear a mask every single day for hours on end. And I remember when we had the virus saga, I hated wearing those things. They would fog up my glasses. I couldn't breathe, but they love wearing them. I'm also like having PTSD from the utter insanity of like people getting like calling me, whatever about not working at a time when a lot of people were not working because of this thing that was going around. Take It's just it's nuts. Like you get held to a different standard sometimes to the point of literal absurdity. God, man, I'm saying there are some people who, no matter what you do, you just can't win with. Oh yeah, I totally am very happy that you are now working. Person who I'm still going to accuse of being lazy. It gets to a point where words don't even mean anything anymore. They just say whatever. Like, I can't remember how many times I watched a YouTube video or just heard people talking in real life, and like the most commonly associated thing with being lazy is that someone doesn't work, and it's like you say that about a person who is just this. It's so dumb, man. And of course, they called me stupid, but I mean, their logic is defying of any type of sense. I already said before, it mainly just comes down to people wanting something out of you, and then when you don't give it to them, they lash out. And like, it doesn't matter. And I said before, like, it doesn't matter how much you give them, as long as they feel like they're not getting all that they could possibly get, with their utter greed, they will still be upset. That's why I said this stuff is really insane. Oh boy. Mm. I'm telling you, I just don't understand any of the like logic behind accusing someone of that. Doesn't make one shred of sense to me. My thing is like, I sometimes really do just say to myself, wow, at the job, at least I've been given some level of appreciation by the people that are there. Uh, Even the ones who I wouldn't necessarily call myself close with will say, hey, are you leaving at this hour or whatever? Just like there's some acknowledgement that when this person's around, things move in a faster fashion they normally do, or, effective, whatever. And it's like the only place where you just can't seem to get any type of credit at all is here. I find that really interesting and sad because again, it's like what's the point of trying to appeal to people if you know they can't be appealed to? Like what sense does that make? Like why bend over backwards for someone that there's no way of actually um, getting them to acknowledge that you've done something right? I just don't see the point. Oh boy, man, what a holiday! No, I think what's probably going to be the sequence of events is that I'll get up around at like afternoon, and then I'll drive over to this person's place, pick up some stuff, come back, edit the documentary. Right. I don't think I'll finish it today, but I think if I do enough today, it can be finished by tomorrow. Um, and then after between the two of those, between today and tomorrow, like having because I don't go to work until the like latter part of the afternoon, so I think those are going to work well together. Mm. Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. That kind of. Mm. Only thing I don't like about this week is that there is someone there. I'm saying sometimes I think with these schedules, they do stuff to purposely mess with me. They're like, we will get you. Like I don't know who's setting up these schedules, but the ones they're putting me with, you can tell they're very diabolical. They act like something is just they're trying to stir up some drama. It's like, hey, these two people that really don't like each other at all, and they don't speak. They try to not even look at the other when they're around. Oh yeah, let's have them together every day. It's funny too because there's so many people that are like, I barely see you anymore. I barely see you anymore. Wait. It's like, well, too bad you're not the other person because I can't seem to get enough of them. Like literally, just every time I go there, they are there. I said, man, imagine if this was earlier in the year, things would have been so much different. Uh, it's just so funny to see them just assuming like and then being so off. I I thought you were 17. I said, man, imagine if I was like, I laughed so hard. Mm. To me, that's the most hilarious thing. Like, they can never just ask somebody how old they are. They have to assume they're this age. I thought you were this. I know they had one woman there that was saying she was 21 at first, and then suddenly she was 18. And I just sat back and I was like, you know what, this place, when people lie about basic stuff like that, it makes you again like not want to have anything to do with them. Like I already don't want anything to do with them after the event we described repeatedly, but that's another example. I did actually have this one lady that when I mentioned that to her, she was like, "Oh, you can be friends with me." And so I was like, "No, no, no, no. Already tried that with one of you, and it blew up in my face. Never again. Fool me once, shame on you. Shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I'm not getting fooled twice." I'm serious. I don't know who would even think that made any sense. Like, we can be friends. No, we cannot. I said before that eventually I'm going to end up revealing that I have it on good authority that it's easier to like like you like what's good putting it, you would get in less trouble being mean by just like not saying anything, not talking to anyone, than you would by actually trying to speak. Because even something as simple as a hello, if the right psychopath finds her way to you, she can twist it to be something it's not. um, I have that on really good authority, and I again, I don't enjoy referencing this stuff, claiming this, that, or the other, but it's the truth. Like they're always willing to just throw somebody over a bridge. It could be someone that you're trying to be friends with. It could be someone you're just trying to greet. They'll find a way to attempt to destroy you. They're not always successful in that pursuit, but if they are, then they will smile and cackle and just they don't care. So yeah, I've seen something that's not human uh, in the last several months. And I can say with sincerity, it's honestly scarier to me than a car accident or a bus crash, or, I mean, even in some cases, like an actual robbery, because at least with a lot of that stuff, you can kind of see it coming, right? When you're like on your phone, ignoring the traffic in front of you, there's like a higher chance you're going to crash if you're not paying attention. Um, Again, bus crashes tend to happen when stuff is malfunctioning, and with robberies, you see suspicious people casing places and just doing like weird stuff. But with some of these individuals, you can be completely blindsided by their quick, sudden shifts in either personality or motive or way of acting toward you. And it's like night and day so fast. And again, no matter what they do, no matter how stupid their claim is, they don't care. If one of them puts you in her crosshairs, get ready. By the way, somebody left a dumb comment on the triangle scam. Let me see if I can pull it up. Uh, I wouldn't do a whole video about it because it is just one, goofy comment. But what did he write? Brother, why did they call me that? If why? You've got to stop viewing women as a different class. They are human beings. Approach them as such. Get out a little more and stop expecting weird things from them. I'm telling you, it's like when they write this, like, I'm starting to think these comments are generated with an AI because they're all the same. Don't address what I'm actually saying. Pretend that we're like on some kind of friendly terms with bro and brother and all the rest of the crap. Uh, and then act like whatever problem I've described is not occurring when it is. And it's funny because I did that video before the events of this year, where like you can get in trouble for someone coming to sit by you and then pretending that she was uncomfortable even though she came and sought you out. So uh I've only been reinforced in terms of like, yeah, they're really not worth talking to or having anything to do with outside of the necessities, whether it's related to a job or some other, thing you're trying to do. It's just really comedic. It's like I had no idea when I did that video last year that this thing would happen, right? Like the following year, and like after it did, I'm like, yeah, I was right. Should have followed my own advice and just kept staying away. But again, I because I thought it was just friends, I lowered my guard and I got that sword ran through me. I was like, I don't know that. I guess they think if they just keep writing the same comment, I'm gonna just magically change my mind. I'll be like, I have been enlightened. I see the true. That'd be a fun video. Make the Great Triangle Hope. Stop expecting weird things from them. What does that even mean? Hey, person I asked to go see a movie with me, I didn't know it was a weird thing to expect you to actually go see the movie with me. So many nebulous terms. Approach they're human beings. Approach them as such. I'm good. I'd rather just not talk to them. If the best they can do is waste my time, try to get me in trouble, you know, all the other stupid stuff, I'd rather not bother. Just saying. I already said before, the biggest issue for me is there just doesn't seem to be any kind of like positive thing that comes out of this stuff. It's all just a big waste of time. Which again, people, they want to waste their time, go ahead, but don't try to drag us into it. We were even talking about how a lot of these like out of wedlock births kind of are designed on purpose to force people who didn't choose to have the kid to have to like pick up the tab for somebody else. Like, oh yeah, because my daughter's dad can't watch her, you have to watch her older sibling or grandparent or whoever else. And this one person was getting mad and they were like, are you trying to say that nobody should ever, uh, you know, help out or whatever if it's not there? It's like, no, 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 you're missing the point. If I'm not suggesting at all. I'm just saying that if people are going to sit here and act like, you're supposed to just do this for them, even if you're not actually the person who created this life or whatever, I think they're out of their minds. That's the biggest problem for me, just the idea that you have to pick up the baton of taking care of a life you didn't create because somebody else who is certainly more responsible for it than you can't be responsible for it. I think that's absolutely insane. But again, this is like it just like the another one of those problems with modern society. They just expect you to always go and sit there and put up with this stuff. And they'll get more upset with the person that calls out than the people that are actually doing it. How could you say this? Well, how could they do that? I'm just imagining doing a documentary on Jackson. It'd be so weird. Oh boy. Oh man. Oh. I'm not kidding. Sometimes I look at books and I see the retail price. I'm just like, you guys are out of your mind. I mean, I couldn't imagine paying, 30, what is this, $35 for a book. That would be absolutely insane. Oh boy, I tell you. I wish people would write comments that like actually made sense, you know? Like it's fine to disagree with somebody, it really is, but again, as I said in my Weird Man video, it's like they don't actually disagree, they just write something that is generically opposed to a generalized version of my viewpoint without actually explaining what's wrong with it. It's a really interesting phenomenon. It's like someone wants to say something about another thing, but their argument is so like non-existent that they just have to gloss over the thing that they're bothered by enough to write a comment about but not think critically of enough to actually say something that holds any kind of weight. It's just a fascinating contradiction because again it's like they want to say something, that's why they wrote their comment, but they don't know what the hell to write. Oh boy, I tell you, just it's sad. I just realized both of these were by the same author. I feel so dumb for picking up on that. I'm so upset by what you have to say. That's why I can't respond to what you're actually saying. And to me, that's the most obnoxious part. Like, okay, you don't agree with what I have to say. Can you actually tell me what I'm saying that's incorrect? Nope. You're just generically incorrect about something. is that even back there? Oh, sounds like bones crunching, I tell you. Yeah, if I had to get one book this month besides Noam's goofy memoir, it probably would be, I don't know. Because I keep thinking about like what will be most beneficial in terms of like how can I use it for something else. And I don't have any books on Washington or Jefferson. Um, I have one on Jackson, but would I really want like would he even be in like the top 10 that I'd want to do? Because I always had it in my mind that it was FDR and LBJ, then it was Carter and Nixon, and then after that it gets a little bit more murkier. I know that it would another group would be Truman and Eisenhower, but I could not. I'm just trying to think. The only person I could probably put Jackson with, besides Van Buren, would probably be Polk. You know, Old Hickory and Young Hickory, and even then, it's like, how far down the list would they be? Like, I would certainly want to do Polk over any of the ones between Jackson and Lincoln, but I mean, hell, I don't even know when I would get to Lincoln and who he would be put with. Like, you could put him with Washington, but they're not really, I guess I usually try to have it be contemporary. So I guess Lincoln and Grant would be a possible duo. I don't know. Oh, boy. I would like to play a role in giving Grant his dues because I do think he's another example of someone that was important that gets glossed over, which is really unfortunate. But no, generally speaking, for the, I guess I could do a separate video about that probably. What books do I use for what and the research and whatnot. That wouldn't be a bad idea, I suppose. It's crazy. I used to have this book as a soft cover, and I think I left it over at the other house. Well, I know it's not here, but I hadn't seen it in a while because I bought it back in like 2017 and just never got around to really reading it. And that's always the thing that saddens me about reading. That there's just so much stuff, and I never just sit down and I'm like, oh, let me get that, let me get this, let me get this. Because like one of the reasons I was so dead set on doing the documentaries in the first place was because I felt like there were a lot of people who didn't get their due. Like if you're doing the civil rights stuff, you know, and maybe Malcolm X would get talked about, but Abernathy and Roy Wilkins and James Farmer and all the rest of them, A. Philip Randolph, they would go almost completely unmentioned, and it would drive me crazy because I thought they were very important. Of course, they don't have the martyrdom of the other two, so that's probably a reason why. But you get the point that it all started as this person matters, and whether TV talks about them or they have a statue or not, or people on social media are talking about them, I'm going to talk about them. Like I have Abernathy's memoir. Um, I'd have to use that because there's, as far as I can tell, there's no actual book written on him. But of course, he gets mentioned in other books about, the civil rights movement in general. I'm just saying that with him, that's another person where I would really be interested in writing something about them or doing something, with their tale. Man, sun's already coming up. Oh, lovely weather. But yeah, I've heard really good things about the Ron Chernow, Washington and Grant books. And to me, that's still the craziest thing. I really don't have a single book on Lincoln. Wow. And of course, that's kind of insane to think about because he's the president that has the most material. They write about him the most of any of them. So uh, I don't know how that oversight occurred. I'm just going down the list. It's like I have Dalek's book on Kennedy and the Richard Reeves one too. I have like 6 books on LBJ, 3 on Nixon. Um, the only one on Ford I have is his memoir, and I have about, I think, either 4 or 5 either on Carter or by Carter. Uh, None on Reagan. I have Nancy Reagan's memoir and her. I used to, yeah, I used to have Ronald Reagan's autobiography. I didn't think it was that good. But I know that for him, the like books that mainly get talked about are I think it was Lou Cannon who wrote like 2 or 3 different books about him, possibly even more than that. Um, and then for Bush, I did have the John Meekum book. Um, for Clinton, I had his memoir, and then for 43, I have his memoir. For Obama, I have his memoir, and the only book I have on Trump is the O'Reilly one, which I don't even know where I put that thing. It's so small. I got that because I got a good discount price, and I do trust O'Reilly when it comes to Trump because that's someone that has known him for over 30 years, that has interviewed him repeatedly. There's no reason for him to make up anything that he says about Trump. I don't see any incentive for him to, with all that access, to just be like, uh, he actually can walk on water. I don't. I'm just saying. Oh man. Oh. It's crazy that Bush, referring to 43, like I always maintain, I think he's the most impactful of the presidents after Johnson. But man, it is hard to. If I wanted to do a documentary on him, I'd have to use his memoir, and I could only use it for a portion of it because his memoir isn't even like my life, here's 600, 700, 800 pages about everything. No, it's like this weird chronologically in order sequence of event. I don't think I have a lot of problems with it. I'll put it that way. It's not. It's definitely my least favorite of the autobiographies I've read because I just don't find it helpful at all to what I'm trying to do. But uh, if I wanted to do one on him, I'd need to. I don't even know what book you would get for his early life. Like, there's a lot of books about him being president, but there's very little published material about him being governor. I'm sure I could dig up some old news articles, no problem, but you know, that still to me is a problem because it's like, really, I have to go dig this up just to. This is my point. The stuff is just too hard with these people sometimes because it's just such a lack of information. And I have a very keen desire to do him. Uh, it's not as easy because due to him being a pretty recent president and one who wrote a memoir that doesn't really go over the sequence of his life as others tend to do, it's harder to get an idea of everything as we would normally be able to get. And then, of course, it'll be nice to do some senators at some point in the not very distant future. No, I think I might get at least one new book. I think I hope I can. I've earned that right after working all these different hours. Uh, you listen to some people around here, and it's a very villainous thing to ever give yourself anything you want ever. And that's the part that drives me crazy because it's like, you know, I thought the point of working is that after a certain point, you can enjoy yourself, right? Whether that's when you get home, and then like whatever you make right from your job, you can use it for whatever you like. Now, of course, most of it will probably go to some utility, but there is typically something you can use for stuff you enjoy. But nope, you're supposed to just be miserable, just work and come home and I guess stare at the wall until you have to go back up there. People are really insane in terms of what they expect somebody to do, or rather, don't expect them to do. Like, you thought that you could just enjoy yourself? Ha 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 ha! It's nuts. Yeah, I'm looking at the index. Oh boy. I do really like the handwriting in here. No, I think we're getting close to wrapping this up because I do want to get some rest before resuming the rest of my mission. But no, I'll try over the course of the next few weeks to see what else I want to get. I don't know. There's so much stuff out there. And the problem is that for a lot of the more modern ones, I wouldn't be satisfied with just one book on them. Uh, so I tend to like have multiple about the same person because it's just some authors are more descriptive, some are focused on one period of their life. Just there it depends. Even in having Clinton's memoir, there's still stuff about him I would want from actual journalists at the time. But yeah, it's real fun to make this stuff. I do like it a lot, even if I don't get to make it as much as I like, or had there all the struggles and whatnot. I still like that I'm trying at least, because in the end, that's all you can do. Try, try, try. Damn, it's like the book doesn't want me to put it down. It's like it's like skating back to me. So this was a nice Memorial Day stream. I hope that it was somewhat enjoyable at various points, and I will be back on Saturday. I do have Thursday off, so maybe I'll do it then. It depends. Things are so scattershot. But yeah, I appreciate you and have a enjoyable day off for most people anyway.